Gave
Well-run organization.
his flowers to Kyrie. Take a listen.
Listen, I will call Kyrie the wizard all the time. Like, all the time. Like, there was nothing on the basketball floor that Kyrie couldn't do. I have so many words to praise Kyrie that I end up with absolutely none because it's so, he's the most gifted player the NBA has ever seen.
Okay, Brou, your reaction.
I think LeBron misspoke. We all know LeBron's a basketball savant, knows the history and obviously the ins and outs of basketball. But I think he meant to say Kyrie is the most skilled. But because so many people, Chauncey Billups and a host of others, have already said that, I think he was trying to use a different word.
A synonym for skill?
Yeah, and use gifted. That's my opinion, because I don't think Kyrie is anywhere close to the most gifted
But you
player ever in the
gifted
NBA.
as like God-given talent?
Yes, a gift is something I give you, something you give me. I have little to do with that.
Yeah.
Kyrie is arguably the most skilled player in NBA history, but gifted, Allen Iverson, blazing speed, De'Aaron Fox, blazing speed, that's a gift.
I would say a lot of Giannis's game
a
is
jumping 7-foot athlete, because height is a gift.
Yes.
LeBron at 6'8", 250, no fat on him, as coordinated and as athletic and as fast as a 5'6" person, that's gifted. That's just something you were born with. Yeah. What makes Kyrie Irving outstanding is skill. And skills you got to work. I don't care how gifted your hand-eye coordination, they're all gifted to a degree. But relatively speaking to other NBA players, Kyrie's handle, you got to work on that. He's the best ball handler, I think, in NBA history. That's something you worked at to develop the skill. The jump shot. Of course, part of it's a gift, but most NBA guards are gifted to some degree in shooting jumpers, but he's become one of the best shooters in the league. That's something you got to work at. His footwork, his finishing ability, all of that is stuff you got to work at. All right, so, I think LeBron is more gifted. I think Wemby is more gifted. I think Giannis is more gifted. I mentioned Iverson, like guys that have just that some type of Vince Carter
or some
athletic ability that you're just born with. They all work hard, but Kyrie is skilled. And so I just think, I'm assuming that's what LeBron
All right, so before, you guys can see it on social media, before the show we did a thing about the prettiest games, and I came in kind of preemptively annoyed about that because I was actually annoyed about this because I think, first of all, man, in the future, can we not have 9 days between the end of the conference finals and the finals? Because we have already we've gone to the Celtics might be wildly overrated or the greatest team in NBA history. Yeah. We had a minor gender, race, and sports crisis involving the WNBA that might still be flaming about different sectors. And now it's like, hey, that Kyrie Irving guy, Is he in the GOAT conversation here pretty soon? Like, we're just keep going further with it. So my question is, what does any of this mean? What do so many of these conversations, there is no correct answer. Because, Brou, if it is overall skill, which I guess when we say skill, we mean, like you were saying, the things you have to work at. Right. I personally think of my lifetime, the most skilled player is Steph Curry. Because if Kyrie's the best ball handler, Steph's in the top three. And some would say, and Steph is clearly the best shooter, and that to me is not, it clearly has a little God-given nature to it since Dell was a great shooter, and he is, and his brother is. Right, there must be some genetics to it that I haven't quite figured out, but that skill, if we're talking about, because the other thing is these conversations only seem to apply to people under a certain height. So if it's like undersized impact, I think
but guards have to have more skill.
But if it's like pound for pound, I think it's Isaiah Thomas. If it's the guy who, overcame the most given his physical limitations, I guess it's Muggsy. Because he's 5'3" and had a 10-year career.
Sure.
If we're talking about just overall ability to do everything despite physical limitations, Is it maybe Joker? Is he eligible? Like, Joker obviously has no God-given athleticism aside from height.
Is his size, his strength.
His height, yeah. And so but so much of his stuff is learned skill.
Strength.
So that was my other, so that's the other thing. Why is he more skilled or gifted or whatever than Luka?
Can I answer it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so my idea was this. For every, and sometimes you see these on YouTube, you see an antecedent for every cool basketball play. The most obvious connection is like Kobe to Jordan.
Right.
And then you see like they do with Anthony Edwards in Jordan. Like, wow, this move looks like that move. And then you can go a step further back.
You
like,
see
wow.
some Luka LeBron clips with the
Yeah,
passing.
it's like, oh, I see. Every generation kind of builds on the last generation's moves, and you move them forward a little bit. Except Kyrie does stuff, feels like every other game, we're like, I don't know if there's an antecedent for the move that I just saw. And that's what I think LeBron's saying. He does stuff that you've never seen before. Wemby does stuff that we've never seen, but it's more of, like you said, that's more of a gift. Like, wow, you're dunking your own three-point miss. But Kyrie is doing weird stuff where he's putting reverse English on the ball, fade away, that you haven't seen. So that's why I think, like Luka, we've seen all of Luka's stuff in different players in NBA history. I don't think we have seen the Kyrie package in history.
So I think that for a lot of the best players of all time, and Kyrie's not quite on that list, but he is like on the most iconic.
Yeah.
They are one of one specifically. Kobe is a weird element of that because he was modeling his game specifically after someone. So it's like he wasn't really even trying to be one of one. But why is he more gifted or skilled than Magic? Like, because
well, you would say the ball handling,
right? But Magic's
is much
passing.
Better. But his shooting is much better than Magic's.
And so, but that's also why this conversation can frustrate me, because the other piece of it is, okay, so in these gifted, skilled conversations, we are just also saying whatever defense is, it's neither one of them. Or else Drew Holiday's like, hey, where do I fall on this list for just right now? How did I become this great defensive player? Was it God-given? Then I guess I'm gifted. Was it hard work? Then I guess it's skill. Like, where does his coach, Jason Kidd, fall in this conversation?
Well, he didn't shoot. I don't think it's that complicated.
It's dribbling and shooting, and that's it?
I think it's dribbling, shooting, passing, footwork, ability to score at every level. Kyrie can finish. Kyrie can do the runners. Kyrie can do mid-range. His jump, at every level, he's great. And I think that's what, I don't count defense as a skill. I think defense is hard work, and if you have a requisite level of strength and of athleticism, you can defend if you want to, if you have the want to. So I don't think it's that difficult. Olajuwon, interestingly, with all his moves in the post, would be incredibly skilled. I agree with you mentioned Isaiah, Steph. They're all in the discussion, as is Kyrie.
As I think Magic should be.
I buy that.
Because Magic,
he just wasn't the ball handler or the shooter.
But he was so demonstrably a greater passer than any of these guys.
Yeah.
Except, Isaiah was a great passer.
But yeah,
Steph's Magic was just in a different category. Sometimes it feels like we are redefining certain words to make the statements correct. Like, I have heard Kyrie called one of the most skilled players ever for a while now. Right. And then it's like, so what does skill mean? And it's like, oh, specifically and exclusively the things Kyrie's great at. Yeah. And the other stuff, there's something else, not skill. And I'm not taking a shot at Kyrie here. It's why the conversation's tough. And then LeBron used it gifted and you said it was totally threw it out.
Yeah, I don't think gifted is fits.
Before we move on, you kind of went hard at LeBron there.
What do you mean?
Well, your whole thing that you're pushing back against, we didn't say gifted. LeBron said it. You've got to take it up with Clutch.
Yeah, well, I don't like any. I just think a lot of these conversations are a bridge too far for my taste.
Don't tell me.
Yeah.
He was upset, legitimately upset.
I just think I honestly.
Wow.
Go.
Okay.
You're instigating.
I'm not instigating. I'm hosting the show.
That doesn't work, man.
Gotta laugh.
No, you don't get it.
All right. Every rose has its thorn, however. Even though LeBron was very complimentary about Kyrie and wanted to see him do well, he was a little upset about what could have been. Take a listen.
sitting here watching it, you know, I'm playing like so happy and so proud and to watch him and continue his growth and whatever the case may be. And at the same time, I'm so mad at the same time that I am not his running mate anymore.
LeBron's win percentage with Kyrie, about 728. Without Kyrie, 633. Still pretty good, but he had some high peaks with Kyrie. Nick, your reaction?
Yeah, can we refer back to this video and this conversation the next time we hear about how LeBron runs the Lakers? They had two opportunities to get him, via trade or sign him. Wendy said this morning that this offseason, before he re-signed with Dallas, the 3-for-120, that the Lakers could have and opted instead to bring back the Western Conference Finals core. They certainly could have offered a better trade than the one that was reported yesterday, which was 2 firsts and Russell Westbrook, which at the time Russell Westbrook was considered almost a negative asset. I understand it was an expiring contract, but that was because the Mavs
You're figuring, maybe he could play with KD.
Right. The Mavs got him for a 2029 first, 2 seconds, Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. And the Lakers opted against